Hey, good morning, NuMinds Nation. My name is Justin here with NuMinds TV. So let me start by apologizing. Yesterday I did a live broadcast and it went wonkadoo. I'm sure you guys have experienced that in some of the Zoom meetings that you're in. But I did get a chance to record it and put it out there, so if you haven't seen it, please check it out. It's episode 33, and it's one that I want to unpack a little more today in the message. And so before you think that I'm sitting at a lake, I know it's backwards behind me here. This actually, you've met my kids from the NuMinds Vault and also our cousins who are next door neighbors. And so this is Lily, Alex, Katie, and Elias. So this is their little fort that I built for them called Lake Hideaway. So, okay, all right, let me dive in. So yesterday, in episode 33, we talked a lot about creating temporal landmarks, like mental markers for ourselves. And what that allows you to do, if you didn't see it, let me just quickly recap, It allows us to kind of stop and think, oh my gosh, it's a new year, it's my birthday. Hey, morning, Sheila. I'm here in the Lake Hideaway. And if you didn't catch it, it's actually, I'm not at a lake. Lily, Alex, Katie, and Elias. Those are my two girls, and then their two cousins, next door neighbors. So this is a little fort that I built for them, and they named it Lake Hideaway. So I'm hiding out for the morning broadcast this morning. So, okay, jumping back in, these mental markers, right? These temporal landmarks, these mental markers, things like it's a new year, new resolutions, it's our birthday, we're starting fresh, it's a new week, it's a new month. So yesterday I talked about how all of these days they tend to blend together in this new world. And so instead of like Sunday and Monday, we're going to go with a Sunday. So if you hadn't had a chance to check that out from yesterday's episode, check that out, because really we can hack this new world where we feel like everything's really nebulous as far as time and dates. We can hack that to create our own temporal landmarks, which again, educational psychologists and social psychologists say are great ways to create new starts. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to do the NuMinds, if you will. We're going to create a temporal landmark because it is the beginning of a new month, right? We're kicking off May here pretty soon. So now, here's what I've got to do. I've got to think about getting stronger and building resiliency. That's been the topic since day one. And really having a chance to unpack that. Well, it's a cycle, right? You're never done getting stronger. And so there is a cycle that you go through, and at the end of that cycle, which they'll tell you is beneficial for all kinds of growth, especially for education, is reflection. So at some point, you reach the end of the cycle and you reflect on how far you've come, you reflect on what you've learned through the process, and then you decide what you're going to do moving forward. So this is ours from NuMinds, and here we go. Okay, so as you have probably known, we kicked this off as a last minute, oh my gosh, we have to shut down our business, schools are shutting down, but people still need education and still need real inspired learning. And so we cooked the idea on a Friday and a Saturday, and we told the team on Sunday, go. Oh, got sun on my face there. We said, go, create your shows on Monday, have fun. And here we are, ending the month of April, and I'm just reading my numbers here. 250 original shows in a month and a half. Insane. That's 175 original projects that used integrated learning for STEAM, and at the same time, the parameter that we gave them was they had to be able to do it with minimal supplies that were readily accessible at home. So 250 original episodes of different shows, 175 different projects to share with kids. I'm going to move a little bit out of the sun here, excuse me. And yes, like I said, if you're just joining us, I'm inside the Lake Hideaway. I know it's backwards for the text there. Lily, Alex, Katie, and Elias. I'm not at some beautiful lake. This is the fort that I built for the kiddos. Hey, Janet, morning. So I'm tucked up in here because I'm doing a little bit of reflecting and hiding out inside the old Lake Hideaway here. Okay, so what I was getting at is we've created a new temporal landmark for ourselves, and we're saying, man, May is coming up, and so part of that resiliency cycle and getting stronger is a chance to reflect and see how far you've come. So just recapping again, 250 original episodes, 175 different projects that can be done at home with minimal supplies, all integrating learning into like this STEAM approach. So what else? The website, NuMinds.tv, we're not website builders, but we put it out there for all the videos and easy access. And again, read my notes here. We started online classes. We hosted the Global Cardboard Challenge. Thank you for all the love and shares there. Hey, Morning Shay, we are recapping and seeing how far we've come. Now, if you didn't tune into that silliness, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, episode 31 to 32, that it kicked off by singing a song I had never sung before, just to show vulnerability. And that song was, Let's See How Far We've Come. All right, so now let me kind of move the... Oh, you know what? Let me also say this too. Because part of this resiliency cycle is not only how far you've come, but kind of seeing the lessons that you've learned along the way, and just seeing how far you've grown. So, man, a lot of people don't know this, but you could probably infer it. We are not in the film production industry. So all of these episodes and all of this content, man, me personally, I've been using just a Chromebook to put it out there, and my phone. We've had some of our team and our inspirators who have had broken phones. They've had to drive to Starbucks to use the Wi-Fi to upload videos. So it's just been this really fun and challenging journey, and I would just say, oh my gosh, like, I have never been so proud of a team coming together so strong, so quickly, and just performing and continuing to perform. And that's on top of everything else they're having to juggle and share. So awesome to them. Okay, all right, what did we learn along the way? So here's some lessons, and then I'm going to take those lessons and kind of tell you our next steps. And again, this is my way of sharing, but it's also kind of my way of reinforcing a message for you, which is I hope you're able to do this for yourself. Find a mental marker. Find a temporal landmark. Again, that's just simply saying it's the beginning of a new week. It's a new month. Take that opportunity to reflect on what you've done, right? See how far you've truly come. Ask yourself, where was I at the start of this whole drama? Okay? And where are you at now? And then, of course, not only pat yourself on the back for how far you've come, but then learn from those lessons. Okay, so what have we learned? This is going to sound a little bit silly, but we have learned that kids use YouTube. And so that, I know it sounds silly, but we've been putting out on Facebook for our kids programming because, you know, it's accessible for parents and they can get it to the kids. But really, it hasn't been that accessible for kids whose parents don't have Facebook. So, like kids programming and content, it's hard to get to them if they haven't heard about NuMinds TV. But the kids are using a lot of YouTube. And so we also learned about like YouTube for kids, which you can mark as all being appropriate content for kids. And so we've been testing those waters out and learning that along the way. What else did we find? So we found that, and we've learned that shorter, focused talks for parents is incredibly helpful. That has allowed us to drop nuggets of wisdom and put them out there, and again, shorter and focused. So Kristen, for example, on her own volition, has been really testing out and trying a lot of stuff, like her love of getting things done, the philosophy. Her and I share a genuine love of GTD. So if you haven't checked out GTD, check it out. It's a productivity tool that I think is foundational for all other productivity pieces. But my point to that is, she, for example, took that book and the lessons learned and broke it apart into small chunks that were digestible, and quickly found that her Parent Power Hour was being viewed by a lot more than just parents, right? It was good tools for anybody that needed it. So that was the next lesson we learned. And then our third lesson, we learned a lot, right? But our third big lesson is that pre-recording is super helpful. Like you saw yesterday, I had issues going live, and I had to pre-record and get them out there. And so, yes, I love talking directly, and I love seeing like Shay joining in. Morning, Shay, right? And, oh, there's Janet and Sheila and T. Where's T? I don't see T. He'll give me a wave or something. T's the man. So I love that piece. But unfortunately, it ends up that sometimes I have to duck into, you know, the lake hideaway. Lily, Alex, Katie, Elias. Morning, Cindy. So those are the lessons that we learned. And I kind of tell you the next steps, and then I will wrap up this morning for you. This has been a chance to really reinforce that I want you to do the same thing. I want you to create a temporal landmark, take a moment to reflect, and think about, oh my gosh, how far have I come since this whole thing went down? What have I learned along the way? And again, if you've had those like commitments, like things that you've wanted to do, or you were going to try to start a new diet, or exercise routine, or you're going to try a hobby, um, get out of the past, right? If it didn't happen, it didn't happen. Let it go. That's done. This new temporal landmark for you is a chance to reflect and start fresh. So, okay. So here's our next steps as we begin to move into the next round, right, of resiliency building. So first of all of our kids programming is going to move to being YouTube. So we're going to drop the kids programming on YouTube. Now, what I mean by that is, sorry, I don't mean we're dropping the kids programming. We are placing the stuff into YouTube channels. Now, we're still going to cross post here on Facebook so that you can see when new episodes come out. You can still, share them with your friends. But really, it's a chance to meet kids where they're at because all of our stuff is marked appropriate for kids. And so that's super cool. Kids that are already using YouTube will be able to find these activities and be able to do them at home and have some real inspired learning in this time where schools are closed. In addition to schools, that has always been our philosophy, is that we work in conjunction and parallel with schools. So hopefully we're a resource for teachers and for kids and for parents. And so by moving the kids programming to YouTube, that's one thing. The second part is this. We found so many cool activities that were inside the K2 chunk, and then so many cool activities inside the 3-5 chunk. But kids, if they're a third grader, they're not going to go down to K2. And a kid who's K2, their parents may not feel that they're ready for the 3-5 stuff. Man, our team is so solid, as all good teachers are, right? And I know I've got right now on the line with us one of the best teachers in all of Texas. She's an award-winning teacher, right? So give it up for Sheila. But Sheila, we differentiate, right? So we find something that's challenging, and we scaffold and make it more accessible for kids where they're at. Man, our team of inspirators are incredible at that. We continue to train them. They continue to surprise us, right, and come up with new stuff. And we reinforce that at every staff meeting that we have is how do we make it where it's mixed age. So that's a big change that we're doing, is that we're going to make the kids programming be 1st through 5th grade. And those projects will have intentionally scaffolding built into them so that all kids can enjoy, have a great time. They're not limited by the K2 range, the 3-5 range, getting back to our core and our values. Woo! Sheila says, yeah! Right? Okay, what is the second thing that we're doing for next steps? The parent pieces will stay here on Facebook, where we love talking to parents and adults, and you're going to find, we're going to work on more pre-recording so we can have higher quality, so you don't have to listen to Justin stuck inside of a fort. But yeah, I mean, of course we'll still have live events and still be able to talk, because that interaction piece to me is where it's at. I'm an extrovert by nature, and so this whole thing with live is just like up my alley, and seeing the feedback and working with other people and picking up on the energy. I love it. But the production quality is, as best that you could do with a live broadcast. So this gives us a chance to really bring in things like you've seen Ben doing in his show, where he interviews guests. Sheila says, from an award winner himself, you are an inspiration, my friend. Sheila, man, we were two souls that were meant to just meet that day. It was so cool. Just an awesome opportunity. And I'm so glad we've continued to stay connected through the social media and through all this crisis. But yeah, so you've seen Ben. Now, Sheila, for example, it would be an honor and a pleasure to bring you in for an interview. And so on your schedule and your time, and yes, Janet and Cindy Lynn and everybody else that's on the jam, or Doug, it'd be really cool to have another perspective, another voice, but on your schedule. So that allows us to do more options if we pre-record. Okay, I'm going to keep jamming. So once again, you're going to see the 1st through 5th grade programming moved onto YouTube, and we'll still cross-post on Facebook. You're going to see the parent pieces expanded that allow for more accessibility and really cool short nuggets and takeaways. And all those things are going to be focused on, all those things are going to use the platform we're pre-recording so that we can up the quality for you guys, because you guys give us the feedback and tell us what you want. And that was one thing that you asked for. Okay, and then as a company, we are getting ready for the launch of our online summer camp. And we have been slow in this process intentionally. So making NuMinds TV just felt right, and we just jumped on it. But what didn't feel right was offering an online summer camp when we didn't know if we could deliver it. So that was something that we hesitated on intentionally because we wanted to test some systems out. We wanted to play with some things. We wanted to do a global cardboard challenge to see what worked and what didn't work, what engaged kids, what our curriculum stand the chance of going online. So we are super excited to announce that we're opening up Online Camp Pursuit in May. And so that's where a lot of energy and attention is going to go. I'm not trying to sell anything to you right now, so that's not my point. My point is that's our next focus and our next steps is how do we make that online piece for kids so stinking engaging, and then continue what we do as a company. So that's really, I'll end with that, which is if you're watching, if you're sharing, and if you appreciate what we do, let me kind of be specific. Simply giving a thumb up or a like or sharing or liking our page is huge. You know this, but I'll just be explicit. Algorithms like in Facebook and YouTube, they look for people who like stuff and they begin to share that on other people's feeds. So the more people that can hear about us, it's not only is it a win for us, but hopefully the content is great for kids that aren't exposed to it yet. So by all means, please share and at the very least. And then I'll go more specific as we get ready for Camp Pursuit and things like that. Keep us in mind. So I've been working with some game masters. We have game masters on our staff. Walter and Adam are both narrative writers and game creators and game masters. And so we've been working on how do we make the online learning piece not just a bunch of sit and get for the summer camp, but how do we make it interactive? So there's some really cool stuff that's coming out. So I guess I'm going to ask you at the next level, if you know of somebody who's interested in a summer camp for their kids, we're running the whole thing all summer. It's going to be very interactive, and at the same time, it'll have takeaways and projects with scaffolding built into it, using that 1st through 5th grade kind of range so that kids can scaffold down or they can scaffold up as needed. So tell a friend about our online summer camp when you see that coming out. We greatly appreciate that piece. And then the last thing I'll say is this, if you get a chance to share NuMinds TV with anybody in particular, we house all the videos there, and your feedback has been helpful there too. We keep cleaning those that website up, and hopefully making it better and better. We're not website developers, but we're getting better. So, okay, guys, again, this has been a chance for me to take a mental marker, a temporal landmark, and say it's the beginning of May. We're moving into a new season, right? So I was able to use this nebulous time that we're all in and create that landmark and say, okay, to build resiliency, I've got to take a chance to reflect, see what we've learned, and go to next steps. And to be fair, this didn't come just from me. This is from the whole leadership team and all of NuMinds, everyone included in the conversation. So I encourage you to do the same. I said it before earlier in the broadcast, but I'll say it again in case you're joining in. Use this really weird nebulous time and hack it. Is it the beginning of a month? Man, all the days feel the same. Well, then pick a Sunder day, right? Half Sunday, half Monday. And make that a mental marker, a temporal landmark that lets you say, okay, how far have I come since the beginning of this thing? What have I learned, right? Did you leave something hanging, like a resolution or a diet or an activity or an exercise or a hobby you wanted to try? A book you wanted to get to you haven't got to yet? Forget the past, right? So, now, I give you that challenge. I can't wait to see what you guys do. I can't wait to see the next steps. And guys, here's to an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow for the very last broadcast of Start the Day, because then we'll begin moving into a new platform. Woo! All right. Hey, thanks for being with us today, and I'll talk to you guys soon.